the author of Genesis, Moses, as we concluded a couple weeks ago, has structured this book so that we even have an identifying feature here, and that is the tolidoth structure within Genesis chapter 1 through chapter 11. In Genesis chapter 2 and verse 4, you have what seems like a innocuous statement where it says that these are the generations, and that's tolidoth with a feminine plural ending on it. So these are the generations of the heavens and the earth when they were created in the day that the Lord God made the earth and the heavens. Now, there's some debate about this first instance of tolidoth in the Genesis record. It could, on one hand, be looking backwards toward what has already been given to us in Genesis 1:1 through 2:3. In another perspective on this, it could look ahead to the following narrative, where it says that there was no bush of the field yet in the land, and no small plant of the field had yet sprung up, for Yahweh, God, had not yet caused it to rain on the land, and there was no man to work the ground. There was a mist going up from the land, and was watering the whole face of the ground. And then Yahweh, God, formed the man from the dust of the ground and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life, and man became a living creature. In one sense, this does introduce us to something new, and that is the creation of man and his placement for a particular purpose within the creation. And so that this tolidoth could be looking forward. And it could be anticipating basically the tolidoth of Abraham, if you would, and looking at his specific place in the creation narrative, his role in the world that God has created. But it could equally serve as a structural marker bringing to conclusion what has happened in Genesis 1:1 through Genesis 2:3. And you just have to make a decision about how this tolidoth is functioning in Genesis 2:4. We see in Genesis 5:1, however, a specific reference to Adam, which to me means, or it should at least give us some persuasion in the direction that the first tolidoth is a concluding tolidoth to what had happened in the preceding narrative. So in Genesis 5, we begin a new section, if you will, where it tells us that this is the book of the tolidoth of Adam.